We're talking to Jessica Cornwall of Motion Touch about managing production and quality in an offshore environment like China. Jessica, please can you tell me, starting out, how you would select a factory for a particular manufacturing project?
When the manufacturing project comes in, we will look at which category it belongs to, and we will analyze the risk. For example, what type, and we decide where the location, because we look at China in a different way. The different area, different city, they specialize in different business, and they have a different industry. So we can have the benefit to have the factory in certain area. So when we decide the area, and then we look around, we will apply the factory audit. So we have on the ground qualified inspector to run the factory audit. They will prepare the factory audit report, which will cover 9 different areas. It's including the general information. For example, you don't want your factory, you place the order, pay the payment, and they disappear tomorrow. And they also include the general staff's the data. For example, how many engineers they have, how many operation they have, how many quality engineers they have in a factory, which is very important from the quality control point of view. And also we will look at how they deal with the production schedule, how they inspect the incoming goods, and how they inspect outcoming goods. So after we go through this process, we will have a very comprehensive report to tell us where the factory is and what they look like, what's their capability and capacity. And then we tier them into we will tier them into the 3 different supplier base. So every time the project comes in, we select them based on how complicated the product is and how long does it involve any assembly process or any other extra outsourcing products. And then we select from the factory we have already audited before.
What you've described there is a process where you get a very good understanding of the factory's capabilities, the staff, the skills, the quality, by going in and in detail measuring and meeting people, looking at the processes they've got in place, and then tiering those factories so that you have an availability to meet every product requirement or every project requirement as it happens.
Yeah, I think it's very important because it's international trading and such a long distance with a language difference, time difference. So it's very important you have the Chinese staff working for you to the factory to understand exactly what they are doing.
Once you've got a factory that you've selected and you're running a manufacturing project, how do you manage quality during the production in that offshore environment?
Basically, I work as a trainee in the production after I graduated from school. So I have a basic understanding how to set up the production line and what is required and what could go wrong potentially. So when we have the project come in, we will draw the product specification, which will detail, including from the material, from the how the product being made, and how many. And in order for that, we have the standard MIL 105 system, which we follow to do the sampling inspection. So we select the inspection, we prepare the checklist against the different inspection level. And that's why in order for me to convert the specification to their standard operation procedure. So the operator in the production line actually have something they can follow, and they can be trained by the SOP, standard operation procedure, to be the skill operator, which will prevent the potential issue happen in the first place. That's what we call a self-inspection online. Also in the production line, we set up the regular routine. The surveyor will go to the production line to do the check. And then after that, we use the checklist that we prepare from the product specifications we agree with the client as a final inspection just before we leave the factory. So we actually, to control the quality, is not only at the final stage, we actually look at every detail from the incoming goods and when the product is on the production line until it's complete production line assembled and packed.
That's obviously quite an intricate process, and it seems, I suppose, the common thread throughout that then is this quality checklist and how it's applied at each of the stages to make sure you get a consistent result at the end.
Yeah, that's very important because it will cover the general inspection level and the special inspection level. So that means the product inside out will be complete covered by the checklist we prepared.
The quality checklist then is applied to batches of product that are picked out from a production at the various stages you've mentioned, and it's applied using these sampling standards, for example, the military spec. As I understand it, these standards are specifying what numbers of product you need to pull out, say from 1,000 or 100,000, in order to get a very good sample and therefore statistical analysis of what the quality of the production as a whole is.
Yeah. Basically, we do 100% inspection in the production line. So all the product before it's being packed actually has been inspected 100% through operation for the self-inspection itself and also through their final QC. So what we are doing is we use the MIL 105, the standard, to check the product before it's shipped. So it will give us an idea on, for example, how many orders we have or how many quantity in the shipment and how many sampling quantity we need to get from the whole lot. And we do against the different label. For example, we will have a level 1 to level 4 to cover the general issue on the appearance or the visual check. We also have the standard, the special inspection level from 1 to level 3 to cover the special dimension or the tight tolerance control.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the quality inspection services that we provide prior to shipping? Are we saying also there that that can be a third-party service and we can go in and do that for productions that we haven't run as well?
Yeah. Basically, running the pre-shipment inspection, Motion Touch has two different options offer. We can either we have the qualified inspector to go to the factory to do the inspection, or we ask the third-party company, for example, SGS or Intertek. It's a global international company. They have their inspector to go to the factory. It all depends on where the factory is and what their specialty is. So they will use our checklist as a check basic, and then they check it against to the products we are going to ship. And in the inspection itself, we also have offer two different process. The one is during process inspection, and the other one is one we call final rendering inspection. Some of the products, because of the complexity, so it requires more assembly. It's not only just the injection or stamping process. So we normally do is after the first process being finished, before it go to the second workshop, we will do the during process inspection to make sure we reduce the failure rate between them, and we will have the more satisfactory products in the end. And the other one we offer is a final rendering inspection. That means the whole product has been produced, assembled, and packed. So once it's been packed, we check them, we take them out from the final package, and we check against to our checklist again, and we trying to see if it meets our requirement on the contract.